Welcome to Paulstoolbox. Today we're going to cover putting the crown up in this room. And this is a little bit different than your normal crown, and I have all kind of videos on crown molding showing you how to cut it different ways, and I have the links in the description box from other videos. But on this one, we're going to be dropping that crown down just a little bit, so you really want to know how to do this. It's a lot easier than you think. You get great looks because crown molding is so much different than other molding. It really makes a room pop. This is 3 1/4 inch base molding, and you see the line right here and the line right here. What I did was I ripped it. I ripped a small piece to go on the bottom, and I wanted enough meat on here for the crown to sit on, but I wanted to make that crown step out a little bit. Once I ripped these two pieces, I took one and I trimmed out the ceiling with it. Then I took the other one and I dropped it down right here, and I nailed it all the way around. So we have a gap right there. That gap allowed me to drill a hole in the ceiling or through the side right here so I could feed my wiring for the lights. That's all it was for. Now if you're not going to drop this down, you can always just take your crown, your base molding, put it where you want to give an extra line down here. This gives a little extra line and makes it look a little bit fancier. It's like a 2-step crown. You have 2-step, 3-step, 4-step. It just depends on how much you want to go with it. If you look at this closely, you'll see I went right along the line of my base molding when I nailed this on. And the reason why I left that little line right there is because it made it easy for me to follow it along when I put my crown molding. And it gives a nice design. If you take it and it steps down and you have a little bit of a line and it steps down again, it gives a nice look. I'm redoing the entire bathroom and I have some pretty cool ideas for a lot of these things. So make sure you follow the future videos because we're going to take step by step on everything in this room. But first I want to show you a little bit about the Louisville ladder. Louisville has agreed to give me a ladder or give a ladder to one of my subscribers. So make sure that you drop a comment because what I do is I choose from the people who comment on this video. Doesn't matter what the comment is. We take these and we're going to pick from the first 150 comments that we get. I'm going to send it to Louisville Ladder. They're going to choose somebody from here to be a winner. Now we're ready for our crown molding. So right here I made 2 little templates. This one is actually 22 degrees, the 2 sides. So that makes 44 instead of a 45-degree angle. This right here is 22.5. So it makes for a 45-degree angle. I noticed when I put my strips on the wall that I have a little bit of a separation right here. It's not exact. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's touching in the back but not the front up here. And that's not a problem. I did that just to fill for this, so you won't even see it. I'll be able to caulk the bottom of it. It'll be nice. But when you come to your crown molding, you have to have it exact. You don't want to have this with gaps because it doesn't look good when you try to caulk this up. What I'm going to do is show you the 22.5-degree cut right here. And if I put it and try to push the 2 sides, they're going to rock back and forth. Now I can take my 22-degree cuts and I put it on here and it'll go just right on there. The drywall will not follow the corners exactly. They'll take this with a razor knife, cut it, and it might be a little bit off. And I saw on this, a lot of these, it's off. You see this comes down over here, and it goes inward, a little bit on an angle. So that throws this corner off. But if you get your crown molding exact, you'll be fine. We'll be able to take and just caulk that little bit on the bottom, and this is going to fit perfectly. Now when I go to measure this for this, I want to make sure I sit this right in that corner, and I'm going to make a mark exactly where my miter is. Okay? My miter is a tiny bit off of this crease right here. Like I said, this is over just a little bit. It kicked out. So I'm going to measure from this point over and this point over here. So I'll still follow just right. And you fill that little bit with caulk, you won't even be able to tell. It's going to look perfect. But this is your main thing. You want this to fit perfectly, and you want this to fit perfectly. You do not want these to be off from each other. So when you do a miter cut, you always make them even. If it's 22.5 here, this is going to be 22.5. If that's a 45-degree turn. If it's a 44, make it 22 and 22. If it's a 46, 23 and 23. Never do one more than the other because this will never line up. So I know this one is right here. I'll get my measurement from this point, and I'll measure it over on the other wall. I showed how to make this jig on a previous video, and all I did was tweak it a little bit. I put a coating on here, some bed liner coating. You can use paint, stain, anything you want. But I put sandpaper on the back of my stop, and this holds it in place. And of course now I just use a little quick connect clamp on here. Make sure to check this out in your description box, because this tool makes the job a lot easier. You're not going to cut upside down and backwards, you're going to cut right side up. And I'll go into that on a future video. Right now I just want to show you how I cut this. The jig is already set up for this, so all I have to do is make an inside 22-degree turn. And we determined that a 22 is better than a 22.5 on this wall because it's a little bit off. Get it right on that mark. With these inside cuts, it's very difficult to get in the back side of this and put a nail in there, because your angle does not give you enough room for one thing, and another is we're right off the ceiling, so we have no room up top. You don't want to shoot nails in it anyway. I never shoot nails on something like this. I'll take and glue it. So what I'm going to use is my 2P10 glue. This is a CA glue, and it works great for stuff like this. It's a two-part glue. I'll spray one side here, and then I'll put my glue on this side, my instant glue. This will bond because this is an activator and this is my glue. It bonds a lot faster when you use an activator. We're going to spray the activator on this side, and it doesn't matter if it gets on the face of this, the paint, it will not mess it up. It does not even leave a film. It will evaporate. So we'll take this, the glue itself, and put on the opposite side. You're going to have to hold this in place for about 10 seconds, but once it bonds, it really bonds. So we'll hold it. That's it. Now we can take this and get to work. I'm going to spray it. Oh, I love this stuff by Fast Cap. All right. Nice. I'm going to tack a nail right in that corner on both sides. Now, I'll get this where I want it. I'm only going to tack one in the middle. Like I said, I need that end to flex. If you take a little block, some extra pieces, make your miter, and take and measure an even distance. This is 5 inches. I can set it right in here where it needs to go and mark it. Now it's a lot easier to get this measurement from a straight line than it is from the corner. All I have to do is add 10 inches to my measurement from here to the other side, and I'm going to have an exact fit for this. So I'm going to take this side, same way, put it right in the corner where it needs to go, and then get my measurement. Make sure I'm exactly where I need to be, and that's it. Now all I have to do is get my measurement from here and here. And if I don't have anybody with me, I'll just take a screw and put it right above there, exactly on that line. I'm going to run a screw in there, hook my tape to it, and get my measurement. Right on the inside of that line. So that line is touching the edge of this screw. Fifty-one 3/8. Perfect. So I add 10 inches to that, 61 3/8. It's the same as the other side. When you have a run 5 or 6 feet, you can flex the board a little bit, make it a tiny bit bigger. I made this a 1/16 of an inch long, And I'm not using CA glue with this because I need to work with it. I'm using Tight Bond. You can use any type of wood glue. I like Tight Bond. I've used it a lot. What I'm going to do is put my glue in the corners. I'm going to get it in one corner, flex it out a little bit because it's not going to fit in there. It's going to fit real tight. And then when I get it in place, I can tack it and this glue will dry and it'll be fine. So I'm going to glue up these joints. Like I said, I always glue my joints. Never put crown together without, or any kind of trim without gluing it, unless you have some kind of special circumstance. But other than that, you want glue in there. That's going to keep this from separating. Not just corners, any joints. But that's why I keep a good wood glue on me and CA glue, because sometimes you really want that CA glue, and sometimes you want the wood glue. So I'm going to put it right in there. See how it fits? Now, it's not going to fit on this side. I got to flex it out and kind of work with it. Get it in the spot at the bottom. All right. And when I let it go, it really squeezes tight and it's going to push everything together. Now I'm going to fit this corner, make sure everything looks good, tack it in place. I'll walk it down a couple of shots on here because I'm a little high from it flexing. I'll bring it down, shoot it, and then over here, I'll do the same thing. Oh yeah, perfect. Now I'll shoot it here. And what I want to do is I'm going to put a block up here to keep this together. When it squeezes this together, it's going to dry and it'll bond. Okay, I make my wood shim slightly smaller where I can slide it in there easily. Now I'm going to take a cabinet shim or flooring shim and just push it until it squeezes this tight. You see how it gets that real tight? I'll leave it in there. That glue will dry and we'll be fine. This fit well, but just to be safe, it's always good to squeeze it in there and make sure it's super tight on top and bottom. Well, we're one step closer to getting this done, and it's starting to shape up. Behind me, I'm going to get rid of these mirrors, and we're going to do something else with the doors that's going to be pretty sharp. Also, I have a lot of other little tips that are going to come in handy when you're doing stuff like this, so make sure you follow. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure to drop a comment on me, because if you drop a comment, you could be a winner for this. This is a cross step, and it's absolutely the best ladder that I've ever used. I could take this ladder with this unique head right here, and I can lean it up against the wall anywhere I want. Not just on a regular part of the wall, because it will not damage it. It has rubber. But you see how it goes in that V? I can take this on a corner of anything, and it holds. You can put this on a pole and set it in there. I've used it on the fire department. On our trucks, we've leaned it up against the corner of the trucks, different parts, and we have one at the fire station because this is a good ladder. Do this with any other ladder, and you will be sorry. I can take this and set it right on the corner and not have to worry about damaging this corner bead or any part of my wall. It's not going to scratch my paint. It's not going to put pressure on that corner. It distributes the weight. So if you found this useful, hit like for me, and I'll see you guys on the next project.